better be quick. I'm doing mine right now. Oh. Too fast.
How is it going, boys and girls? Welcome back to Key West
you're
Waterman.
actually filming.
Yeah, I'm a YouTuber, babe.
I know you're filming.
My name is Aaron Young. If you can't tell, I'm not in Key West. A little different scenery today. We're out here and we're off Montauk.
Yeah, that's right.
We're gonna be doing some diving today. We've got Tristan and his dad, Rob. Big thanks to them for letting us come out. We've got Captain Micah in here putting us, I don't know where he's putting us, somewhere. We're gonna be doing a little bit of sightseeing and hopefully a little bit of spearfishing today, so I figured I'd bring you along. And I've got Chef Will, as always, cooking with clams, and the lovely Madeline Madeline. So we're getting suited up. As you can tell, water's a little chillier here than what it's been in Key West, so we're putting suits on and we're gonna go see some stuff I've never seen before. I've never dove off of New York, so very excited, and I'm looking forward to this. As you know, I love exploring. But enough talking, let's get in the water and check it out. All right, are there any unspoken boat rules we need to know about, or diving, or protocol, or?
I like to keep everybody kind of with like a rhythm here. Okay. So like the person that's closest to the
I remember
motors,
you telling me that. I don't think
I didn't
heard,
give you guys the
heard to hear
spiel.
it.
So the person that's closest to the engine dives. The person, and then the diver, when they come up, they'll be somewhere back there. They come up, they go back to the line, they stay back there where they came up. The next person dives. He makes sure they get back to the line. You keep an eye visually when they come up. Just make sure they don't come up and they're not like doing anything weird. And just make sure they get back to the line. Then you breathe up and you just move up the line and get ready to dive again.
Alrighty.
If everybody does it, it works great.
Banana gun does New York. Oh, where's my snorkel? Hey, we threw my snorkel.
You might need that.
On top of the... Welcome back underwater, everybody. So this was a very exciting thing for me. If you've been, not that all my episodes aren't exciting to me, I love everything that I do, but if you've been following me for some time, you know that I don't really get out of Key West a whole lot. I've kind of been tied to my business the last 7 or 8 years. So I really haven't traveled and done a lot of fishing and spearfishing, so this was a lot of fun. So because it's a new area, first and foremost, the first thing I want to do, get in the water, get acclimated before I even try to spear anything. Get used to the water, the bottom structure, the new species. You can see there's all kinds of little sea bass swimming around. I was pretty sure I knew what they were, just wanted to get used to it, the diving style, size everything up. It was a whole new world for me. I can't remember if I talked about it, I think I did. The surface temperature was actually a lot warmer than the bottom. The bottom was almost 62 degrees, the surface was about 72, so one of the hardest things to get acclimated to was as you drop, you hit that temperature break and it almost shocks you, kind of takes your breath away a little bit. So it was really reducing my dive times, which I didn't struggle with, but it felt weird. And you'll see once I get down to the bottom, another thing is the currents up there are insane. The current is just roasting across the bottom. So it took some getting used to, and one of the things we had to worry about was, and they told us this, if you shoot a fish, make sure your shaft doesn't get stuck or wrapped, because the boat is drifting, you're drifting, the current is going so fast. If your shaft or gun gets stuck on the bottom, you're going to have a tough time getting back up, getting to the boat, marking that spot, and then relocating it to drop on it. So the whole thing was very new, very exciting, and just wanted to get acclimated before I took any shots. And I think realistically I probably did 10 to 12 dives before I actually shot anything. I wanted to be sure. Seeing a fish in a picture is a whole lot different than seeing a fish underwater in its natural habitat. I saw something that looked like almost like a Pacific sheep's head. It's like black, but it has white on it. Not a sea bass.
What? Might be a blackfish.
Blackfish?
I'm just getting warmed up. I saw plenty of those sea bass.
The tricky is floating on the sea big one.
Yeah, I saw one that was definitely over 16. I was just, like I said, I'm just getting warmed up.
So everything we did this day was drift diving. Like I said, the currents up there absolutely roast. Like if you wanted to fight it, it would be a waste of time. You would just wear yourself out. And you can see how quickly, like I said, how quickly I'm screaming across the bottom here. And this was my first dive. I think this was like the third drift. First dive that I actually saw any stripers. So this was really cool. The area we were in at this point in the day, this was in the morning, the area we were in, we're not legally allowed to take any striper, but it was very exciting to see them. That was the first time I've ever seen a striped bass in the water diving. So that was pretty cool.
Wow, that is cool. Yeah, they're all over.
So I'm probably, I don't know, like I said, probably 10 to 12 dives in. Feeling confident. I know what species I'm looking for. I know what size I'm looking for. Again, you can see how fast, I am not kicking. You can see how fast I'm moving. So I see this sea bass, and I really wanted to take a shot, but you can see it's up current. I'm having to pretty much kind of chase it into the current. Now if I shoot that fish and my gun gets stuck, I'm in trouble because I'm down current of it, and I'm gonna have a real tough time getting that out, even getting up to my shaft to get it out. It wasn't worth it. I wasn't happy with the shot, so I just decided to wait for a better opportunity.
Phew. I hesitated on a big sea bass. I should have taken it.
So this is my next dive. Again, I know exactly what it is that I'm looking for. You can see Madeline was there. I followed her down. I was going to try and film her, but she pulled out of her dive early. But I know what I'm looking for. I know what size I'm looking for. And I pretty much land on a perfect size, nice, really nice sea bass. Just turns and gives me that perfect broadside, and I ended up stoning the first one I ever shot at, which was pretty exciting. And I learned that the bigger ones have this blue aqua iridescent color on their face. So pretty much that's all I was looking for the rest of the afternoon, was that blue color. There was so many sea bass, but the bigger ones stood out because of those colors.
That's the right one, right?
And just because I'm in a new place doesn't mean anything changes. I bleed as always. You can see a little better here. You can see that blue color on the face there. Just a wonderful fish. Really, really cool looking. So now I knew what it is that I was looking for, so these fish were in trouble. And they kept telling me how delicious they were, so I was really excited to get some because I really wanted to try them. You can see some stripers there cruising around. There's the numbers of fish, like the populations were insane. The number of sea bass I saw was unbelievable. I was just trying to be a little more selective and just pick some bigger ones, just to make sure they were legal. I think, if I remember correctly, it was 16 inches. I can see I've got one with that little blue color on the top there, and gives me another nice stone shot.
mark them just in case.
No.
Those are exceptional fish.
Those are jumbos. That's like in the
For
restaurant.
diving out here, that's about as big as we get.
In the restaurant, that's like.
You guys are just saying that.
No, that's a jumbo.
Oh, good on.
We did a couple of drifts.
Get
got
some monsters out like fishing in like December.
Yeah.
Yeah, before December's over, we get monsters.
So these are called black sea bass. We did a couple of drifts, and I'm told that these are unbelievable eating. I feel like I've had these when I was younger, but it's been so long I can't remember. You can see they've got a really nice, cool blue color on top there. Just an absolute beautiful fish.
And the mature males get that hump.
On the head?
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, that's what I was looking at. Because the first one I saw, I was like, "What did it have a big hump on the head?"
Yeah, that's
That's a
usually a mature male.
Okay,
What?
cool,
What?
beautiful.
Murky?
Babe, how deep is it?
50 right now. Fish all over the screen. We gonna hop back in.
Luke
So as the day went on, the current actually got actually lightened up a little bit, which I'm assuming it was approaching slack tide. I didn't think to ask. And Tristan actually had a camera. He followed me down for a little bit of third-person action here. And I can't remember if I said it. Most of the bottom we were diving was between 40 to 60 feet, I think, if I remember correctly. And found another nice one of those, another nice sea bass. And this one's kind of being a little more squirmy, and I'm just being patient, trying to wait for it to turn. I don't want that going away shot, and it gives me the go ahead. And there we are. I was kind of worried there. I didn't know if my shaft was going to come out. I kind of had a mini panic attack, but luckily it pulled right out of there.
You got it doubled up.
Doubled up, baby.
Nice.
Hold yours up, Tristan. Oh, you got a nice one. Things are gorgeous, dude. That blue. Thank you, miss.
So we ran in and did some shallower stuff. I think it was like 30 feet, and saw a ton of those blackfish, which from what they said, they're out of season. The population of those, I will say, is extremely healthy. And I saw this ray. I'm not sure what this was. If you know, maybe leave it in the comments. Pretty cool looking.
What you got, babe? Triggerfish?
Oh, babe.
Yeah.
I wanted to shoot something, so.
Big one. Oh, shoot more. Those are good. These are good eating.
Babe, look, no meat shot.
That's my girl.
That's a nice shot.
So we have been doing quite a bit of spearing, a lot of fun. This is so cool to see something new. Tons of big striped bass, like giant monsters. Supposedly they have a slot on them now. It's 28 to 35 inches, I think I said. I can't remember if I said it earlier. But we've been shooting some black sea bass, a couple of triggerfish, I think. In the area that we're in right now, we cannot legally take striped bass, so I think we're done with the sea bass from what they're telling me. We're gonna move down a little bit to where an area where we're allowed to harvest the striped bass and jump in and take a look. Hopefully get my first one.
So we ran a little ways, moved to a different area where we were allowed to take sea bass. I was pretty, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty anxious because it was kind of the reason we went up there. But I was nervous about the slot thing. If you don't know what a slot is, it means a fish has to be bigger than a certain length but shorter than a certain length. So you have a window of length where you're legally allowed to harvest them. It's not common. There's not a lot of species that have that. Snook is one of the ones down here. So I size up fish fairly regularly, but seeing a new species and then trying to size it up was something new, and quite honestly, I wanted to wait until one of them took a fish, and you can see me here. I think I know what it is. I'm hesitating, I'm lining up, and I'm just not completely sold on it. These spots these guys had were incredible. There was fish just all over the place. And this is Tristan's camera. He's actually filming with a GoPro 10. The water actually looks a lot cleaner, but maybe he has a filter or something on there. So I wanted to wait until, like I said, one of them shot a fish so I could see it in person, hold it. You can hear Tristan. I'm going to link his Instagram. This kid is a savage underwater. He's a heck of a spearfisherman. So I'll put his Instagram in the description if you're interested in following along on his adventures. And he shoots these things all the time, so he knows exactly what a slot is. He ended up shooting one, and it was 34 inches on the nose, and I think the higher end of the slot is 35, if I remember correctly, which is pretty good in my opinion to be able to shoot within 1 inch. I was very impressed. So I had saw Tristan's fish. I knew what I was looking for ballpark, and a lot of these fish are, I'm telling you, 40, maybe 50 pounds. Some of them were absolute monsters. So I'm down here, I'm just waiting for one that says I'm not a monster, which is a weird concept. So this one I think is the one, and it turns and it gives me a shot, and I hit it right in the spine. I wanted to go for a stone shot, but the more I thought about it, just want to put a good holding shot in my first striper, and I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely stoked. Couldn't believe it. First striper. I was just thrilled. Brain and bleed as always, and I highly suggest if you ever catch or spear a striper, make sure you bleed it. The meat quality was amazing, but they do hold a ton of blood, I noticed. And unfortunately, we tried to get Madeline shot on third person, and Tristan followed her down with the camera and had a malfunction there. Huge thanks to Tristan for everything he did, all the help, the guidance, the filming. Again, I'll put his Instagram in the description. But I was thrilled Madeline got her fish, even though we didn't get it on camera. You'll see it coming up here in a sec.
First one, baby. First striper ever. Stoked on it. He's brained, but he's still got some nerve firing. Oh, super cool. Babe, look at you go.
Babe, it was a meat shot. It's not a good shot.
Wait. Hang on, hold on. Oh, you got it.
I got this one going. Look at you, babe. Madeline's first sea bass. Striped bass. Duh.
Did you get a video?
I don't know, it died.
Oh, it died.
Stupid GoPro died. Or it didn't die, it like shut off. You know what those guys do?
Yeah!
Watch this here.
Oh.
Give me some. So we kind of got back in a cluster last night. As we were heading in, storm rolled in and it was pouring rain. We were trying to unload stuff. I kind of wanted to close out the boat section and really thank Tristan, his dad, Rob, and Micah for taking us out, just really having us on the boat and letting us come out and dive with them. For the most part, complete strangers. And they really made it a very enjoyable day. So if you guys by chance see this video, I cannot thank you enough. We had an absolutely incredible time. But me and Will, for lack of going into too much depth, his mom lives in a neighborhood and I didn't really want to chop up a fish in her backyard and make this giant mess. So we found this nice little beach. And we're gonna flay this fish up and do some taste tests. I'm gonna break this striper down and also gonna break down one of the sea bass. And I kinda wanna cook them side by side. I've never had either fish. So I wanna break them down side by side and see how they taste. So I said it earlier in the video and I'll say it again, these things have a slot now from what the locals tell me, and just some of the fish I saw were just like, I'm talking 40 pounds, like giants. And this one was in slot, this one was 34 inches. I talked about it in the narrative for the diving, but I watched some of the guys shoot one first because I was very hesitant on making sure I was within slot, and I've never had to shoot a fish within slot, so that was kind of a new interesting thing. And if you know me, you know I like to take the ribs on fish, and by looking at this thing, I have a feeling it's going to have some pretty gnarly thick ribs. But I'm very excited to try it.
Look at the difference between bleeding it.
Yeah. Look at that. So I did bleed this fish as I always would. And they hold a lot of blood. Like, they hold as much blood as when I bleed those 50, 60 pound wahoos. I mean, this fish is only, if I had to guess, 15 pounds maybe. They seem to have a lot of blood in them. And so I don't destroy this knife. I'm gonna try and come over the ribs, which I normally don't do. I don't have my serrated knife that I normally have in Key West. Just gonna push that back. Make that straight. Mind you, this is the first time I've ever filleted a striper in my entire life. That was pretty exciting. That meat looks great. Nice white big flakes. I'd almost compare it to like, it's got big flakes like a grouper, but it feels almost like a snapper would.
So what I would compare it to is tile.
Tile? Really? I can see that.
And I don't know if it has to do with the fact that the water's colder here, so it's similar to tile because tile are deeper. But
Yeah. I like cold water fish because it seems like they've been just like slowly being prepped their entire life. I don't want to lose that in the sand. Just a couple pin bones. Striped bass fillet, absolutely gorgeous. Quite a bit of bloodline, so I'll probably end up taking that out, but other than that, there we are. So you can actually see that is your spine. It's actually severed. It's right where the spear went. Split it. That is wild. So this is our black sea bass. We're gonna fillet both because I'd like to compare them. From what I hear, this guy's better eating. They're both delicious, but this guy's a little better eating. You can just see they are just absolutely beautiful fish. That blue, the iridescent aqua blue on the dorsal fin there. But we're gonna take the knife to them. And these guys, I believe, if I remember correctly, are 3 per person with a 16-inch minimum size limit. And I was actually able to shoot my 3, which was pretty exciting. Oh. Oh, doing a terrible job here. Back on track. They almost reminded me, the way they were kind of you drop and they were just kind of sitting out in the open all flared up, they almost reminded me of lionfish. But I will tell you, they were a lot faster than lionfish. Kind of zipping around. There was a lot of them, and I will say, both species, stripers and these guys, and there was another fish called a blackfish that we weren't allowed to harvest. Just saw tons and tons of every species. It seems it's a very healthy fishery up here. what you love to see. And that first impression just looks beautiful. White, maybe a little softer. Doesn't look like it's gonna have much of a bloodline from what I'm seeing. None at all.
You nailed it with lionfish.
Right? That's, I mean, that's fantastic. So we're gonna cook some of that along with some striper and give it a comparison. Y'all gotta check this out. This is where Will grew up. This place is absolutely gorgeous. And also a big thanks to Carol for letting us stay in her house for the weekend. Look at this place. Love it. Coming from Key West, it is such a treat to see grass. I know that's strange. You comfy?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get some of this fish cooked up. Let's go.
You're gonna have to redo that because I made a face.
That's okay. We'll just use it. Alrighty, so we are going to cook our fish. Very straightforward. I can't remember if I mentioned it, but anytime I try a new fish, I want to cook it as plain as possible without just microwaving it, essentially. Salt, pepper, olive oil, and the reason being, if you season the crap out of a fish and throw it in a taco, you don't really get to know the fish. I want to know what the texture is, what it tastes like. That way, next time I cook it, I have a better idea of what I can do with it. And again, I've got black sea bass and my striper. I've never had either of these, so literally salt, pepper, olive oil in the pan, and just gonna give it a little sear. And the striper had a very prevalent bloodline. I took most of it out. I don't mind bloodline. I don't know if you like bloodline. Apparently, Will said in New York it's not a thing to take the bloodline out, but a lot of other places they do take it out. So just to make it fair for comparison's sake, I took it out. So I'm just gonna sear this for a little while on either side, and we'll give it a taste test. So my sea bass is obviously gonna cook a little faster than the striper.
Ooh. See, I like it like that. A little crispy.
I like that. That looks good. Should we burn our mouths or should we wait? So look at those. Those are just absolutely gorgeous. Oh, like that little char. We're gonna let it cool down so we don't burn our faces off. All right, so we are gonna go in. What do you want to do first?
I'm gonna do the striper first. I want the crunchiest part.
If I do say so. It looks cooked.
It
pretty
looks
well.
like how grouper's really thick. Oh wow.
I was not expecting that.
No. Whoa. Super flavorful.
Really tender. Oh my goodness. Super tender, very flavorful.
This is just one flake. This is huge. Like so thick.
I'm not mad at that at all. Sorry, we got the lawnmower going. It's Sunday here in New York. Everyone's a little busy.
That's really good.
I would compare it to black grouper probably.
That's what I said.
Sorry, I'm talking to Will. He's off screen.
How
Wow.
white.
Okay. Okay. I can live with that.
Perfect.
All right.
So I truly believe that it's like black grouper because they don't. You saw them. They lumber around.
Yeah.
They have a similar lifestyle.
So that first was striper. This is our sea bass.
Oh wait.
Whoa.
Oh my. what that tastes like.
It's almost, me and Will talked about it earlier. It's almost like a black belly rosefish. It looks like lionfish. Black belly rosefish has this, so if you're not familiar, it's a deep water species in Key West and off the southern coast. I think they get them pretty far up. I don't know how far up they get them. But it has almost like a snap to it. Very, very moist. And I don't want to use the word slimy because that sounds bad, but
Just juicy.
wow.
Wow, this is a really nice flavor.
So, if I had to pick, I like the flavor of this one better. I like the texture of the striper better.
Yeah, I would agree.
Wow. Well, that's 2 more off the list.
Oh my, no, I like this guy.
Dude, the striper's incredible. I'm not, like, I thought this guy was gonna blow it out of the water based on what everyone said.
Black grouper's also one of my favorites, so that's probably why.
Yeah. But that is all we've got on this one. A huge shout out to Will from Cooking with Clams. He literally pretty much planned this entire trip from start to finish.
Did.
We don't get out of Key West a lot, as you know. So big thanks to Will for pretty much putting this whole thing together. Go check his channel out. He's gonna do some more fancy stuff with these fish on his channel. I'll put a link to it. Big thanks to Carol for letting us take over her house for the weekend. Huge thanks again to Tristan, Rob, and Micah for having us out on the boat. Can't wait to have those guys down in Key West. But other than that, thanks so much for your time, and we will see you guys on the next one. Later.